Welcome to episode 10 of the Social Currency Series, your show for tech, venture, and entertainment. I'm your host, Darren. I'm joined by Dom and Lo. Lo.
Hey, everybody.
Episode 10, milestone episode. Took us a long time to get to episode 10. But tell the audience what we're shooting tonight.
Episode 10 in Toronto.
T.O.
In the
Yo,
6th.
the 6th.
Welcome to Toronto. Now we took the podcast international, so now we're a little bit different. I hope this levels us up a little bit. Came to the city of Toronto. It's always a good time coming up here, and episode 10.
On the same day Vince Carter gets his jersey retired. How crazy is that?
I wish we knew about that earlier. That would have been nice to go to.
That'd have been definitely nice to hit up.
But we have this thesis or thought around these different cities where founders should be, where should you be building, right? And we feel Toronto is one of those cities. So a couple of things about TO, right? That's super crazy. It is a tech hub. There's 18,000 startups that are here, right? Which is crazy impressive. The VCs are here, so in terms of money for folks to come and actually build a company, that exists.
Yep.
One of the things we care passionately about is media, and media is booming here. There are media companies that are based here. There's shows that are taking place that are being shot here, so that's crazy. The event that you guys went to yesterday, Arcstone.
Weren't you part? I mean, I know
I
you came a little late.
I was a little late.
A little late.
Oh, yeah, you were late.
Arcstone, we can touch on that a little bit as well.
Okay.
You can tell the folks what that is and what you guys learned, but I think for the episode today, we got a lot in store for you guys. We're going to touch on YouTube's new feature, the Hype feature, which is going to be critical for folks like us who are looking to scale up. The Snapchat Spectacle glasses for augmented reality, which is crazy. We're going to touch a little bit on Slauson & Co., the VC fund that raised $100 million primarily for black founders, which is pretty cool, pretty impressive. And I think less than 5 years from their initial fund of $75 million, which is remarkable.
Wow.
And on the entertainment side, we're going to touch a little bit on Mark Cuban's interview on Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay.
Hey.
It's a real club.
I know, right?
Jalen Brown is starting his own business. We're going to talk about the impact that can have for other players and what he's going to be doing in the sneaker game and some other extras that we'll add towards the end of the show. But let's kick up back at the top. I think we wanted to touch on Arcstone, and then we can maybe segue into the Mark Cuban stuff. I'll kick it to you guys.
I think Dom should start it off. He's kind of the one that he got us the invitation.
Shout out to my man Raj, one of the managing directors for Arcstone, the summit. They have a partnership with I think Kingswood now, trying to make the U.S. and the Canada pipeline of tech companies and investors, symbiotic, and just increase the business networking and stuff like that. So the event was successful. I thought it was a dope concept, dope event. They had some panels, they had some companies representing and present their ideas and visions in hopes to get investments. And they also had some booking, like some in-person time to get one-on-one meetings with
online. That's good. That's pretty impressive.
With people that were there. I thought that was a dope addition to an event like that. And we were able to meet with some guys and in the event, and then after that you saw the cocktail hour where you could meet with different people, and and everybody was cool. Everybody was trying to do deals. I heard some deals being struck in the building, so that's what you want out of the event.
The cocktail hour. That's true.
But shout out to Arcstone and Kingswood for inviting us up to come join them at their first ever summit event. I thought it went really well. I think the highlight of the whole thing for me was definitely the one-on-one that we got booked, and then also the last networking part, just getting able to just have face-to-face with just different founders, different investors, different people, just seeing what they're doing, and then just seeing how we can collaborate to get something done. I think that was very important. But I think the best part, I think, was that one-on-one, because you got to get like a little face-to-face with potential investors that you can work with and people that can help broker your deal once you're ready to fundraise. And then also we got some really good feedback and tips from Jack, who's also, I think he's the third he's one of the third members of Ark Stone.
Yeah, he's the legal side, compliance.
So Jack, he's really smart guy, and gave us a lot of great feedback on how we should position ourselves when we're ready to go out and start fundraising. So shout out to Ark Stone, shout out to Kingswood for putting on a great event yesterday, and shout out to everybody else that was there. It was a really amazing. I think I had an amazing time, and we also met some really great people. You know, Toronto got some dope people. They do say, you know, Canada got some really nice people.
And I like the consistency on our side, you know. Boardroom last couple weeks ago, maybe I think 2 weeks ago, and literally following up with this in a different country and continuing that trend of network effects, right? Social currency, continue to expand our network.
And I think what I'm presently learning, especially through all these things that we're doing, is that the essence of getting out and just trying things that's new and going out and doing things that may be uncomfortable or whatever. In a sense, like when you think about it, like, dang, should I really just go to Toronto to go to like this little summit that they're having?
Yeah.
You could think about it and be like, you could come up with so many reasons why you wouldn't go. Right. And the fact that we're taking these, risks essentially and coming out with not knowing what to expect and it coming out on the positive side, just goes to show you that in business, it's all about relationships and it's all about nurturing those relationships that you get, especially when you meet with these people.
True. That's a great segue into, I wanted to kick the show off with a little bit of the Mark Cuban Club Shay Shay interview. I know he was dropping some gems on there. Yeah, getting right into it. So, yeah, I didn't see it yet. So you guys tell me what were some of the, I guess, key points that you got from that interview with Mark Cuban, because I know he dropped some stuff around NBA deals, how things are going to be moving in the future. And I think that's the most important thing, like how are things going to operate, not now how it's operating, but how it's going to operate maybe a couple years from now.
Mark is, known for being a flamboyant, flashy owner who's always extra excited, with the players and the fans, and engage with the fans. So that's always been, his persona. But what I took away from it, but I was delighted to hear how good of a boss and an owner he was. Like he said, the companies he left, everybody got richer. Like 30x their salaries when he left.
Like the bonuses.
Even with the Mavs. Like I think when he sold part of his piece, like the people that was under him, everybody increased. And he treats his players like he took in Kyrie when nobody else wanted to touch him.
That is true. That is true.
And then look, I think the key thing that he said about dealing with a personality like Kyrie, who has like a unique personality, unique perspective on things, just let him be him. And look what happens when he went to an organization that kind of just let him like do his thing, let him be who he is. He took them to the NBA Finals, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for that. And I know he had like a little rough sledding the past couple of years with the COVID stuff, but those are one in a lifetime situations. Those are not going to be like some things that happen all the time. And we just just respect to Kyrie for staying the course. And look, I know they didn't win, but I think that's a real good feat of just showing the leadership that he could bring by helping that team get to the finals. And they just ran up against a good team. But Mark Cuban is just I already have respect for him, just newfound respect. The gems that he was dropping from a business perspective, how he was talking about the NBA, the new media rights with the NBA, how that's gonna get players even paid even more. He was saying that soon enough that players with these new deals, that players can be making more than the owners.
Well, how much is that though? You say more than the owners.
When you say more than the owners, is like you got to think
like a year, like 500 mil. Owners are not making 500 mil. Like he's not making 500 mil a year.
So you're saying a NBA player can make $500 million in 1 year?
Not in 1 year. He was more than saying. He was saying like it won't soon. Like when it's time for like maybe Luka to come re-up again, Jason Tatum and come re-up again. You're gonna start seeing these guys getting paid $100 million per year, and like owners. You got to remember, they make a lot of revenue in what they do, but there's a lot of operating expenses in operating that business. So they're not necessarily making $100 million. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like net profit. You get what I mean? Like net profit. There's a lot of expenses that they have to shell out to the business, but the valuation of the business is in the billions. But what they're making on a per year basis, like as a salary, because he's an owner, he doesn't really have like a real job. He's the one that put in the foundation, bought the team, things of that nature.
I don't know. I put myself in the shoes of an owner. I don't think I'd want. I don't know. It's a little tricky to say someone's going to make $100 million, when you think about the structure of NBA teams, right? Like who's your franchise player, and then who you're putting next to the guy who you're paying $100 million. Like, it just doesn't seem feasible long term from the owner side,
But what's the but it's, you got to think about it. The NBA
Right.
cap is increasing every year, so their budget essentially to spend is increasing.
That is true, but it's also return on investment. And look at the Celtics right now. They're paying two guys $300 million for over 5 years. But that's over $600 million over a span of 5 years. If they don't win the championship, again, let's say they did, but again, like a repeat or a second title in the next 4 to 5 years, I don't know. I consider that a waste of money.
Not really, because they win a championship. If you win a championship, you make
Everything is
that
secured.
exactly. That's all.
Everything makes sense.
Exactly.
If they win the championship again.
No,
But-
even this past championship that they just won, that solidifies that investment that they made. Because yes, I know that you get paid to do what you're going to do in the future.
So how many rings, when you give someone a 5-year deal like that, two players, let's just use an example of the $600 million, how many rings are you expecting?
I mean, hopefully 5. You're expecting 5. You're expecting 5.
One is good enough.
Yeah,
It's
because
not-
even think about it. Because look, I would say Jalen Brown's contract is kind of worth it. He signed for the $300 million or $400 million last year. He won a championship, won Finals MVP, won the Eastern Conference MVP. Isn't it? Didn't he kind of like bank on what you kind of invested in him on?
I agree there. I'm just saying.
And then Tatum,
going back in, doing it again.
but
That's
no,
a
look,
lot. It's a big investment.
actually, the Celtics can maybe even repeat, because think about this. Think of Tatum's offseason. Tatum had an offseason coming off the Olympics where he didn't play. How are you the NBA champion? Don't play. There's games where you're playing DNP and you're the reigning NBA champion.
It's all about fit. It's all about fit. He just didn't fit that with that group.
No, I know, but let me land here. This is what I'm kind of my point. Is like, you don't think that's going to be motivation for him?
I do think so, but I'm going back to I'm the owner. You won me the championship this year, but 5 years from now, I don't get another championship. Maybe we do have sold out arenas. Maybe we do make deep playoff runs. So that's going to count towards me recouping my funds back. But then I also think if you just had a Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, you probably could potentially make a deep playoff run, maybe first round, second round. The East isn't super, super deep, Like I probably still can be profitable without having to spend the $600 million or giving someone that kind of ban.
No,
Would
it's
you want to lose somebody like Brown though? Would you want to lose somebody like that?
and it's the
Somebody else would
market.
pay him that or more.
The Clippers did it just this offseason. They were like, we're not paying Paul
That's
George.
Paul
Yeah,
George.
but they didn't win.
He didn't draft him.
And they didn't win, and they have him into a conference finals. At least Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum has been to the conference finals
He's still
multiple
a top
times.
forward though in the league.
It doesn't matter.
Paul George.
But it's still different. Like, yes, he's from LA, but he's not. They didn't draft him. Like Jaylen Brown is homegrown from Boston. Him and
That's
and
also a
Jason,
good fact.
like,
That's a good point too. I
we
can
brought
see.
there together. Like that's a homegrown thing. They want to keep him. They don't want to keep Paul. He's no real ties to the Clippers, especially they still got Kawhi and all this other money.
And then also with the Paul George situation, it's just it didn't make sense. Like they bought him together, they spent all that, they let all that draft capital go, and they had nothing to show for it. I wouldn't compare Paul George situation to the Celtic situation. That's like completely different.
I'll let that one go, but let's go back.
Completely like different.
I'll go back to Mark Cuban for a second. Did he talk about any of his businesses, like the pharmaceutical business that he's in?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
What did he say about that?
What did he say? He said it's obviously more cost effective to get his to use his subscriptions other than the healthcare industry, pharmaceuticals in particular, is really just overblown prices. So his is actually more cost effective and actually gets people cured faster. I don't know, but it's definitely more cost effective than what's on the market.
I guess because it's a podcast. You're going on Club Shay Shay. You're kind of marketing yourself. You're dropping gems. You're also marketing your companies. I guess outside of the Mavericks and the pharmaceutical company, was there anything else he ended up talking about?
Oh, he wants to make Texas a touristy destination.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting.
Texas or Dallas?
No, Texas itself. Like because he made a good point. He was like, when you think about Texas, like, do you want to go vacation there? So he was like, how can we make it like a more attractive destination for vacationer, like people that want to go on vacation, not just for like people that are like living there.
And I think this is why he sold part of his percentage in the Mavs because he can make more from gambling and all the stuff that's coming to Texas. You know?
This is you thinking this, or this is what he said?
No, this is what he was saying. Like he was saying, like his kid, some part of the reason why he sold the team is because he said, as an owner, to be competitive, especially with these new owners coming in that have like super deep pockets, like the owner of the Clippers, Steve Ballmer, and then the new ownership group in Phoenix, and then how
HBA, those guys,
and then how
Utah's owner,
and then a lot of these new owners are coming in with like private equity groups that have a lot of cash to just throw around. He's like kind of an old school owner. He's been around for like 20 plus years. They built the business and got it to a valuation in the billions, but may not necessarily have billions of dollars to do capital expenditures unless they sell part of the business. And that's exactly what he did to get some liquidity to expand on what he wants to do and bring in other people that are more savvy in the real estate, because Mark Cuban's a tech guy, and Shark Tank obviously things of that nature, and an investor. So he was saying, like, I'm not really familiar with real estate and things like that. That's a perfect example, because look what the Clippers are about to do. They're about to unveil the most expensive stadium.
That stadium looks really good, though. I don't know if you've seen it.
That's where it's going. And you're gonna need money to compete with that.
I can see that. I can see a fan going to a Clippers game like, this is incredible. I'm not really a Clippers fan, but I might want to go watch the Lakers game over there instead of at Staples Center. That could happen in the future. You know?
Can you afford that? I guess.
So exactly. So like so that's part of why he sold the team, is so he can be able to afford that, and also bring in strong-minded people in the real estate business and the design. And then just getting back to making it a tourist destination. Gambling is like a big thing now, and bringing a casino and like a well-named brand, like he was talking about Bellagio and a Venetian. To imagine that in Texas.
That's gonna be crazy. But what part of Texas though? Houston, Austin, Dallas.
He was saying Dallas.
San Antonio. Like where?
He was mainly talking about Dallas.
You got to tie it to a team. So
I think
4 options.
And Jack was even telling us that they're bringing the stock exchange to Texas.
Yeah, they're trying to bring it. Texas has their own stock exchange where companies could come list and access the public markets in Texas. And it's going to be something to watch for, especially coming from this event that we just came from with Archstone, a securities and investment firm. Just seeing how businesses go public or list in the future. Like, maybe you don't necessarily have to go to New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Is that more competition now that Texas is trying to get their own stock exchange? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I want to do a little thing on like sub economies in the states, like U.S. probably GDP, but like how much is each state bringing in? Because that would catapult Texas, because they have a little bit of a tech scene in Austin. So if you add that plus gambling or whatever else, finance, and other companies that might just come over.
And then the most attractive part about Texas, at least from a business standpoint, is no state taxes. So your money can go a little bit further. And the cost of living is obviously not as pricier than these metropolitan areas like Los Angeles, San Fran, and
a lot more bang for your buck.
And New York. So,
all right. So from an NBA owner and his business dealings, let's go player now. Let's talk about player dealings. Let's talk about Jaylen Brown. He announced he's starting his own company. I don't know all the specifics around the different, I guess, components of the company he's building. I know one of the structures is he's going to go sneaker fashion. He's going to go into that segment. He came up with his own sneaker line. We've seen this before from a player, and typically doesn't work. Stephon Marbury comes to my head because I saw him on Starburys.
I mean, he made a lot of money on those, though.
Shaq came out. But a company that's like player-owned that you would reference in the same breath of like a Nike or Adidas. Or maybe even under. It doesn't have to be like a flagship top-tier product, but like, people buy it. So
people was messing with the ball boys.
That had a chance. That had a chance. I know people were making a lot of jokes online about the Ball brothers, but I thought that had a chance. I don't think the sneakers ripping up and stuff helped. But
I think as a player, for Jaylen Brown's perspective, he just signed a $400 million contract. I think he's a single guy. He's his own VC. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's his own VC. So he literally just went out on a whim, or not a whim. I'm pretty sure he has people around him that's guiding him, saying like, hey, you have the capital to kind of start your own thing. and kind of build it up, why not probably try to do it? And that's some of the things that he was talking about when he first signed the deal, how he wants to impact the community. So this is a way that he can impact the community. Maybe the shoes would be like not super expensive. Maybe it'll be affordable, things of that nature. So that's But I have a little thing that I want to say about that. It's funny because you see how he's investing in like the fashion or like shoe business. And what was the thing that was one of the investments that? But I think he was saying as an early player. Mark Cuban was saying as like an early player. I think that, and this is something that people people should watch.
He said the record labels, the liquors.
He said liquors, fashion, record labels, and what was the last one that you shouldn't really invest in as an early athlete when you first get in?
But that's what's like pushed in front of you.
Yeah. I forgot what the last one was.
It was something around entertainment or something like that.
Yeah, so he was just like, and it's funny because growing up, like you kind of think, restaurant. He said restaurant business. He said the restaurant business. When you're first getting, when you're first getting into your first contract, he said you have to watch out on those investments because the barrier to entry is so low that there's so much competition that there's not a real moat that you can build around your business that can end up building your valuation.
So what's your take on Jaylen Brown? Do you think it's going to be successful?
I think this is exactly what you want to do. You want to get a good contract, a lucrative contract, and then be able to take that risk on your own and see where you could put, especially if you're beefing with Nike or you're not,
he turned down $50 million in partnership deals. Like, I know it doesn't,
but that's what I'm saying. That's not a lot because he's making that in a year through his salary. And maybe even more than that, and then he could take that. And then now he has full creative control.
So you're saying it's a little bit more about risk taking versus like this being the first successful endeavor coming out the gate. You're saying this could fail, and he go, you know what, the sneaker thing didn't work out. Let me figure something else out. As long as he's doing it,
he has a capital. He has a capital to fail.
Yeah,
he has like the he has like the back. He had like
how much capital is too much capital, right? Because it's really it's a $300 million deal. It's a $150 million deal, right? For 5 years. How much of that money are you using versus taking in like VC?
It's creative control too. It's about controlling your. It's like
how dedicated he is to the community and to the culture. So he has that wherewithal to I want to do this and actually be in tune instead of Nike being like, oh, maybe we don't know. He has
and then now he's probably part of the design process. Same reason why Kyrie didn't want to do his Anna thing. He wanted that creative control. He wanted to be able to express himself through his sneakers.
So what do you want to see from Jaylen Brown? It's 3 years from now. The sneaker's been out. Do you want to see sales, or you care more about that he has the capital to push it himself? Like, do you want to know, like, all right, that sneaker brand that Jaylen Brown has made $50 million this year, $100 million, or $200 million.
Is there a name for the line yet? Or?
7. I don't want to get it wrong. I don't remember the name of the line.
I actually don't remember the name, but I think 3 years from now, that's a short runway. You can't look at it that way.
741 performance brand, but I don't know if that's the
I think that's a short runway to look at it because this is an investment that he's making in himself and an investment he's making in the business. And to me personally, you can't judge a business 3 years in, or you can't judge a business because it's still a baby. Like, you got to judge a business on like a 10-year horizon. So 3 to 5 years from now, what I'm seeing is like he's growing in sales, he's growing in brand awareness, growing in notoriety, maybe even getting some players if he can. I don't know how it's going to work if he's still playing.
People are rocking with it,
but and he's signing people, things of that nature.
You said let it grow, right? Let's see how it is long term. Are you okay with him building multiple businesses that don't necessarily align with each other? Meaning he's probably in sneakers, and then you hear he opens in the restaurant, which is food, or maybe a services business. Do you care that there's synergies between his businesses, or you care more about that he's actually taking a leap to build them?
I think it's both, because obviously you're in business to make money, so you obviously want to see, and you also are watching people that are have like access to that type of capital, see what type of moves that they're making, to see how you can, align with yourself. Maybe not at that scale, but from a smaller scale, just kind of just like seeing what you could do. And I think it's just more of like the fact that he's taking on the onus to be like, hey, I want to do these things on my own, and I want that creative and ownership control. I think that just goes to show you that he's really serious about business, and we need that more education, especially with the athletes.
If not him, who would be in that position to just come off a championship, get a lucrative contract, have a cultural capital that he has, and cultural connection that he has? who else in the business acumen and somebody who's went to Cal, and been a very, educational and enlightened thinker. You want somebody in that realm to be doing these things and see he could be the case study to see what we can do.
I got one last thing on this. You don't think he should be the face of the league? Like, why isn't Jalen Brown the face of the NBA? Next, or the next guy out. I know we're pushing Edwards, but related.
You need the personality too. He doesn't have the personality sometimes with the media to be the face. You got to be like Ant he's engaged.
He's a showman.
He's fun.
He's a showman.
He wants to.
Showman. Jalen Brown's a more relaxed guy. He can get a little animated sometimes, but I think his natural state or natural demeanor is like he's a chill, relaxed guy. Like he's not super with wanting to be out there. At least from what I've seen so far. I don't know how he is personally. I don't know him at all, but just saying from what I see from afar.
That's a good question though.
But yeah, I think keep winning. He could insert himself into that conversation. I mean, I think this year people definitely upped their respect about him, and he won Finals MVP, like I said, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So he's on his way. But now Jason Tatum got some motivation too, so it's going to be interesting to see how Jason tries to come prove people wrong in the league.
Well, I'm gonna support Jalen Brown. However it looks right now, I'm gonna get a pair.
Okay.
But quick transition into some music stuff I saw. So I read a report that Kanye West made $52 million, or I should say, boost the economy of China by $52 million by doing shows in whatever part of the country he was in. And it's like, the thought is, how do concerts promote the economy or boost or inject the economy? So what do you think of Kanye West? Is that a good number? Should it have been higher? Is that high for him right now in this point in time in his career? Like, what do you? Because I thought it was pretty impressive. $52 million, that's pretty solid. I know he just came out with, I think, 2 albums in the last 2 years. Right? I think so.
No, I haven't been
Deluxe? Does the Deluxe count?
Attention to what he's doing. But,
so that's my point too. You said you're not paying attention to what he's doing, but he still has like a really big impact. So I'm wondering. I know we're talking about Kendrick Lamar had one of the bigger like concerts all time. Like, what is, I guess, the impact of concerts? I know Bad Bunny did numbers earlier this year. Like, what do you guys think about that? The concerts, people going to shows now. COVID obviously is out the picture. Is it more for the artists to generate revenue? Or do you think that countries would be more inclined to be like, hey, come over here because we can have a whole thing, like kind of like the Olympics, if a really big artist comes out?
Yeah, concerts could definitely boost the economy. That's why they have performers come in on these Super Bowl and Olympics and, World Cup and things of that nature. That's the lifeblood of any artist. It's the live concerts. Shout out to Fat Man Scoop, who literally died on stage from a live concert. That's what they tell any artist, because the streaming numbers and the contracts, the splits aren't as favorable initially. So the concert is the artist's main bread and butter. So they gotta perfect that, and any territory would be smart or wise to have any artist come and generate that buzz. Yeah, that'll be lucrative for both parties, I feel.
And I think we gotta also look at it from a future play too. At least with Kanye's, because I think the significance behind it was that he went into an economy that people are normally closed off from, and he brought in a lot of revenue. So that just goes to show you the demand and the excitement for Americans or American artists to go to that different country or different demographic of people. And you got to remember, China has like 1 billion people. So imagine being able to perform for, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to touch 1 billion, but 1 billion people. But just imagine that you're able to just touch like 100 million, 200 million. That's another 300 million. That's another United States. That's another 300 million of people that you're getting access to. And then think about it. He was selling merch over there too in Mandarin. So he's also paying respect to their culture and boosting his merchandise sales by selling in their cultural aspect in their language. So it's a business play. He's making money off the concert, and he's engaging with the fashion. Because Asian people and Chinese people, they're also into like fashion as well too, and dressing nice and things of that nature. So I think it's a good play for his fashion, what he's trying to do in fashion.
I just like how he makes the news super random. Hey, Kanye boost China's economy by $52 million, and it's like, what? How? What do you do? his
It's
album.
Kanye. At the end of the day,
Kanye.
I know he has a little bit of antics and stuff like that, and you know, Kanye's always going to be Kanye, but that's who he is. You know, that's what garners the attention is a little controversy, and you know, when his music is still undeniable, and his people are still going to listen to it because he has classics. What happened to the graduation shirt that you were wearing earlier? You took it off, huh? So that's what I'm saying. Kanye has classics.
Yeah.
So so him going to another country and boosting their economy, not really surprising. But I think the bigger surprise for that particular story is that the fact that he did it in China, which is like a closed off economy that doesn't really allow outsiders to come into their country. I'm not saying that they don't allow, but they're stricter. They're stricter on allowing people to come in and participate in their economy.
The concert economy. Very interesting. But quick segue into, you guys are gonna kill me, but I'm gonna bring up Sabrina Carpenter again.
I like Sabrina Carpenter.
I know
about her. I don't really know too much about her, but I mean, she's doing her thing. I'm always an advocate for people that do their thing, and Sabrina Carpenter, you doing your thing. So shout out to you.
I know I brought her up last episode. We were talking about the stuff she's doing. She's had a crazy rollout. So last episode I brought up her 3 songs that are in the Billboard Top 100. The previous episode I brought up how she did the collaboration with Instagram with the MySpace riff, which was pretty cool. So her entire album rollout has featured a combination of, I guess, old school tactics on how an artist normally would roll out a project, but also some new innovative things like collaborating with an Instagram. And now she's collaborating with Netflix, another media tech giant, and she's coming out with a special later this year. Let me guys get your take on her rollout. Do you think other artists I now think other artists are completely just blind, like, why are you guys not emulating what she's doing? I know it's like happening pretty quickly, but like she's killing it. Her team is killing it right now. Like this rollout is amazing.
I think you just the key word that you just said was team. Her team is just her team is probably just, you know, in tune. Her team has good direction on how to brand herself and how to put her next to certain brands, and she's doing a good job in that partnership space. Getting that partnership with Netflix as part of your rollout is big, because now you're tapping into Netflix's audience as well too, and then you're standing next to a big brand that's Netflix. And that's just also going to push people to go listen to your music even more, because who knows? I don't know I didn't see the deal structure, but it's her music.
Holiday structure, holiday specials. It's like almost like a little bit of like what Mariah Carey typically does with
Is it
that.
a live performance or is it like a docu-series type thing?
It might be a live performance, but it's, you know, it might be VOD live. Netflix now has live streaming too now, so for live content that airs in real time. So
this is no longer the Social Currency Show. This is now Sabrina Carpenter Show.
But she, I think, you know, she and maybe she's more business savvy than we would assume, or people. I definitely think the people around her is business savvy for sure. So it's just more of like, okay, they're just putting her in position. Artists, you got to think about it, and she probably has like a wide range. She can appeal to a wider audience, maybe too. That's where the opportunity is. So that's why we say, as artists, you can't box yourself in. You gotta make sure.
Latin, right? She's a Latino?
I'm not sure.
I mean, Carpenter, I don't know.
Yeah.
Carpenter doesn't really sound like that, but
So she's from the States?
Yeah.
Where's she from? You know?
I think L.A. Well, I don't want to say that. I might be wrong.
I thought she was a Latina artist.
No. She's her genre's pop.
But anyway, regardless of anything, she's doing her thing. And, you know, shout out to Sabrina Carpenter. And, you know, your team is putting you in position to win and keep your music going through different avenues. And that's what we have to remember too, as artists.
She's from Quakertown, Pennsylvania.
That's where the oatmeal's from.
What?
You said from L.A. See, she's from where the oatmeal's from. That's where they make oatmeals, the Quaker Oats. That's where they make the oatmeals. But yeah, maybe that would be a dope collaboration. The Quaker Oats and Sabrina Carpenter. Hey, I just gave them an idea because she's from Quakertown.
They've been killing it,
Pennsylvania.
That's a good collab.
That could be a good collab.
That's funny.
From the entertainment pieces back into tech, I wanted to hit on the spectacles.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about that.
Snapchat making noise.
Hey, you was just with the founder. How come he ain't bless you with none? He just said, hey, I'm gonna give you a picture. That's it. Nah, you was with him. How can he?
He just made the announcement. We're gonna announce something next week. That's all he said. We're gonna announce something next week, and it was the spectacle glasses. So we could have broke that news, which is pretty cool. So this is another reason why going to events is pretty cool because we hear about things before everybody else.
Exactly, before the public hears about it.
Yeah, but before we talk about the glasses for a second, one of the things he did say at Boardroom basically is that you are a product innovation hub. Everybody's stealing your ideas, right? Instagram stealing your ideas, YouTube stealing your ideas, like TikTok stealing your ideas. Like everything happens on Snapchat first. They go and emulate it and copy it, right? He kind of skirted around the question, didn't really answer it. And now, obviously, Mark Zuckerberg came out with the glasses and Oculus, and he's been going really, really hard in the VR space. I don't think this is him. And he's going in his own direction, right? He's like, I'm going to go augmented glasses. And I'm thinking maybe we'll see Mark Zuckerberg and that crew switch gears a little bit later.
No, they did. They did. They just, sorry to interrupt a little bit, but Facebook just announced, or Meta announced that they're dropping the AR glasses too. It's called Orion. It's called Orion. They had like they had like a little live demo 2 days ago, like a day or two ago.
Product innovation hub, Snapchat. But yeah, tell me what thoughts on the glasses. You think it's going to be successful? I don't know what the price point is or anything yet, but
me personally, because I'm also in that space as well too. I think I'll be talk from a different lens. I think the biggest problem that we need to solve for that space is the technology, and these glasses are amazing, like second to none. What you could do, capabilities, is amazing. But if we want it to scale and we want people to adopt it for it to be worthwhile, it needs to look a certain way, and the design needs to be really good. And the spectacles,
I can see that.
The spectacles, the functionality and technology is really good. It just lacks in design. Like, to me personally, it just lacks in design. I can't see myself wearing that all day, every day. It's too thick. It's
for AR.
It's for AR. Like, so like it's not even just AR. It's like mixed reality. So like you could literally be like, like I'm chilling right now in these True Blues slowly smart glasses, and I could open a message
right now.
Yeah, which are available. lowlytechshop.com. Self plug right there. But I could just answer a text message, surf the internet right through these glasses. So the design aspect is where I feel like have an edge. So that's even when we were talking to a guy at our own event in New York Tech Week. He was like, these glasses, like he was talking about these glasses, they're not bulky, they're not big, they're not like the Meta glasses. So if we can, I think that's gonna be the biggest challenge. If we can get design like glasses like that are not like kind of like designed like this, light, with the capabilities of the Orions and the spectacles, that's who wins. The spectacles and everything is nice, but it's how do you make it like, I want to wear these glasses not because for the functionality,
right,
for the style. Like that, I just like the way it looks on me, not really for the functionality is like.
You think they're pushing functionality and function?
Yeah, they're pushing functionality, opposed to
fashion.
The fashion. That's how that's how you draw mass adoption. You're gonna have a little niche market for the functionality, but how you draw mass adoption, how we all want it to be, that's in this like race or in this industry,
right?
You need to go the fashion way. My take. That's my take.
I think from a consumer standpoint, I definitely want to start playing around with these products. I don't know if I have to enter like an ambassador program or invest and purchase it myself, but I definitely want to get the Ray-Ban collab with Meta. You just said they released some new AR ones. I might get that. The spectacles. Start using Snapchat with it because I know there's a lot of Snapchat features. Like, helps to stay up to date and current to see another use case for it might be something else completely different outside of what they're thinking about it for.
Sure.
So, how are you thinking? You gonna buy them too? You gonna test them out?
Absolutely not.
Nah, absolutely.
I'm not a glasses person for real. You feel me? But the Bluetooth, they got anti-blue light, or the True Blues got anti-blue light, so I'm gonna mess with that because that helps the eyes.
Yeah. So like just things of those type of technologies. It's evolving, and I like it. I think even shout out to we forgot too. We went to Idris. Shout out to Idris, dope dude. Out Spatial Labs out in LA. We went to his grand opening of his store with Core Technology. I was even talking to him about like how are you with this thing that he has, this core technology that he has incorporated on his clothing. How do you feel about incorporating that on like wearable devices? And he thought that was really interesting and really cool. Like how can you enable his platform that he has to be open source, so now people that are like creators and builders ourselves can go on his platform essentially and put our products on there and tap in and use his technology, and he's the platform, and we're kind of just like the developers and the creators that are building on top of his platform. I thought that would be a good idea for him to scale, and that could be even a revenue stream of like people will probably like if you're really creative and you really like his technology, people would pay to get access to that type of technology and incorporate it in their own products. So that's some of the things that I was like talking to him about when we briefly met with him, and I thought that would be like a really good idea.
He's open to collab, and he might be on the show.
He might be. We gotta follow. We gotta make sure we follow up with him.
Yeah, but I think that's also something that he needs to improve upon is just his market. Because he has so much stuff that he's doing that we don't know about because we don't hear the stories, we don't hear the full marketing. So he has to, get that on a scale where everybody can know what he's doing because he's doing some incredible things, bro.
And he's been doing a lot of incredible things for a while. So it's not like just coming back to the forefront, getting in front of your brand again, taking the bull by the horn, explaining what you're doing. You seeing? He said he was outside now. He said now that he got the store open and all that pressure is off him. He said he's going to be back outside. So we got to see more of what he's been doing behind the scenes and the technologies and the advancements that he's been working on, because he's even been doing his AR stuff and VR stuff for a minute as well too. So shout out to Spatial Labs and the grand opening in LA, their flagship store.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so another thing that was pretty cool online was the YouTube hype feature, which is, so if the audience doesn't know, essentially, I don't know all the mechanics around how many subscribers you should have, meaning the threshold, like is it over 100,000, things like that. But essentially, if you're a micro influencer, so not a Marquez Brownlee or someone who's like super, super big in the space, but essentially allowing folks like us who are still trying to build our page to, release a video under a week's time. I think that's one of the criteria. Folks can hype it up and basically allows it to get pushed out to more people. It's a really good way to get growth on someone's page. Shout out to YouTube for that. That was a very cool feature, I thought, thinking about creators, especially folks who are coming up like us. So what do you guys think about that feature?
Question.
I think it'll be one of those things that's releasing and they roll it back.
Sounds like an algorithm beater.
Question.
Yeah.
Is this any different than like the boost button that we have on Instagram?
On Instagram?
Is there any
I
difference?
never used that. I don't know how that
Is there any difference? Because
Yeah, so Boost, you pay, right? It's like an ad.
I believe so.
Right. So this one is you don't pay. Is folks actually hit and like hype this up to get it in front of more people?
and is it just like for any content? Is it any content, or is it going to be for like specific content?
I think
No,
any content, any micro content creator, and I think anything that's not over a week old.
I think a good tell for this is going to be like, let's see 6 months to a year from now, maybe even with us when we do it, when we do it, how it grows our following, how it grows our subscriber base.
Yeah.
And make sure, that's one thing we got to talk about. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and everything to the Social Currency Series YouTube page. Follow us on Instagram at Social Currency Series. We're going to have a lot more content. We're going to start displaying more of the stuff that we do, because I feel like we do a lot of things, but and then we talk about it on the podcast, but we don't really show it on social media exactly like everything that we're doing. And I think people would like to see like the background story and the back stuff that we're really doing and coming to talk about, getting
That's
more
true.
people more visible into like the experiences that we're getting, because I don't mean to say it like this, but we're essentially like getting to experience certain things that people are not privy to or don't have like I'll just leave it at privy to, things that people are not privy to, like this investment thing, that why we came into Toronto. We went to Spatial Labs opening, with the event that we went to before in New York Tech, the event that we held in New York Tech Week. Just things of that nature. We're doing a lot of good things, and we need to start documenting a little bit more, and we're going to be doing that. But getting back to that hype button, we need to make sure we're going to test it out ourselves. So YouTube, Social Currency Series, we're going to be testing that out. Just put an extra little hype on our videos and the things that we're doing. And let's see what that is like 6 months from now. I think that's something that you got to just see what it looks like months from now and see if it really works. Do we have more viral content? Is our following growing organically? Is it not bots? Because I know that was a problem on Twitter as well too. So
no, that's all true things. So we have a few minutes left. There's 2 more things I want to hit on. I wanted to hit on some venture news. This is a couple weeks old, but Slauson & Co. raised a new $100 million fund, which is great. They're a black-owned VC firm based out in Los Angeles.
Shout out to Slauson & Co.
Yeah, great. They do a very good job of culture and business. Like they have a whole trailer about their business on their website. It's really cool. I feel like I was watching maybe a Fashion Week video or a new brand that came out, like a Nike drop or something like that. They're very, what's the word I'm looking for? They have great branding.
Innovative.
They have innovative, great branding, great story. Investment thesis basically around types of companies to invest in is black founders. If you're a black founder, you have a great idea, they'll try to invest in you. They've shown success. The initial fund, I believe, was $75 million. This one's coming in at $100 million, which is fantastic. So just again, we're going to bring awareness to the venture space. So we'll keep having these little segments where it might be 5 new funds that release. It might just be one like today. But today we just wanted to highlight Slauson & Co.
Shout out to Slauson & Co. empowering underrepresented founders. And I hope that they're able to deploy all of their capital and make an impact in the community and just keep providing opportunity to founders that are underrepresented in the business and in the funding space, and also just funding great businesses. It's not even just about funding underrepresented founders. It's about funding good ideas and funding good businesses. Because there was something that I came across, I think it was on EYL's thing. It was saying something about, I don't really like to get into like the race thing or like color thing, whatever, but they were just talking about a lot of black founders are over-mentored and underfunded. And I think we don't need more mentorship. We need more opportunities at bat.
I can see that. Learn, but then nothing ever gets built.
Exactly. So it's like we need more opportunities to try to build something, opposed to just getting mentored and told that, oh, hey, this is what you could do. This is what. No, like, give me a shot. Give me an opportunity at bat. Let me go hit a home run. I could do it. I know I can hit a home run.
Loaded bases.
Shout out to Nipsey.
So,
rest in peace.
Last topic of the day. Circle back to some entertainment stuff. So I have a show that's, well, I guess it's my favorite show on.
Hold on, before we
air.
get there.
Yeah.
We still got like 10 minutes. All right.
Yeah.
Talk about the NIL stuff. The college athletics.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
Introduce the topic, yeah.
Well, for those who don't know, the UNLV quarterback, I think Nick Sluka, I forgot his name, but he's not playing anymore because allegedly he was promised $100,000 from the NIL agreement and was only paid $3,000.
Hold on. I'm not familiar with the player, but what sport is this?
College football.
College football.
UNLV.
What year is he?
I believe he's a upperclassman, a junior or senior. He was at another college before, so he's a transfer.
I guess my question is, if by sitting out, will he still get drafted to the NFL if that's his goal?
I'm not sure if he was going to get drafted to begin with. I don't know, but I'm just now hearing about him for the first time, so I don't know if he's going to get drafted or not.
Wow, I don't know if I would have sat out if I'm not like a prospect to get drafted.
I don't know what his future plans are if he wants to even go pro, but.
What's going on?
The fact that he was promised $100,000,
and he's not getting it, so he's sitting out.
This is the problem. This is the tricky gray area when it comes to the NIL and the giving and making these college athletes kind of pros, is because now instead of them just playing to get to the next level or playing for the scholarship or playing just to make sure everything else is covered on like a daily thing, they got a little, I don't want to say leverage, but they have a little bit of power, I should say, in being like, hey, we're entitled to this type of money, and if I don't get it, I'm not risking my life and my body and my brain and everything for your school.
So I don't know the entire situation, but I feel like, yeah, to your point, I don't feel like you have the pull to be doing something like that, especially if you're not a prospect to get drafted. But I do understand, like, they're not going to pay you anyway, so, like, why am I going to go out there and hurt my body? Maybe he cares more about getting an education since he might know that he's not making it to the next level. So I don't know where his head at, and I don't know the entire situation, but that's tough.
And
That's
then
tough.
also,
that's life-changing for some folks.
I just don't know how nothing was signed.
but see,
How
that's
was
where
nothing was signed?
we need more clear
Teams.
We need more clear representation. To
And he
me,
has a
honestly,
representative.
but to me, then he needs to find new
I
representation.
guess from the last show. Was
Yeah, he maybe need to go look at the family over there. They need to go look at the family. I think what we need to talk about and what we need to highlight and focus on is that these kids. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. But these kids, they need to focus on the craft, and they need to focus. And I actually don't think this is bad publicity on the kid or on the player. I think this is bad publicity on the school, because if you're setting a precedent that you're not playing,
you gotta help them.
Yeah, if you're not setting a precedent that
Why'd
you're
you
going to be
promise them
helping their
100,000
players,
and you're not giving it to them?
you're not giving it, you're going to deteriorate. You're going to deter other players from wanting to go there. So I actually think this is more bad publicity for the school than it is for the player.
That's a good point.
But the only and from the player standpoint, the only thing from his perspective is that if he doesn't go to the league, I can understand why he feels away, is because he's like, well, I was planning on graduating with at least like 80,000, 90,000 in my bank account. Now I only have 3, and I probably have no plans on going to the NFL and getting a big contract.
But that's why I was confused, because what was the structure of the agreement? Was it because he said he only got 3,000? You're not going to get 100,000 the first month. This is still in, we're not even in October yet, so I don't know what the agreement was or how long the agreement was supposed to be. So I would be.
Could have been in advance.
And then also, you got to perform. Like I'm not saying that he wasn't performing.
Did 3-0. And he was leading them in rushing and passing as a quarterback.
So thank you for educating me on that. He's performing.
It might be a good move. Like,
so that's a good move for him. That's a good move for him, but not for the school.
You had a good point that it looks bad on the school, because now I think another player's sitting out now.
That's what I'm saying. So now, and then it's going to be a ripple effect to other universities that are not doing this, that players haven't spoke up yet. So maybe now this is going to be kind of like the reason for guardrails in the NIL that should come down faster from the NCAA, but it's the wild wild west. Nobody knows what's going on. This is all new. Yeah, all of this access to money at a younger age for these kids. This is all new to everybody. So there's gonna be some growing pains, and I think this is just part of like the growing pains. But this is bad PR for the school. UNLV, come on, you guys earn Vegas. You guys make so much freaking money off gambling and everything.
Make that in a night.
Exactly. You can figure out how to pay the guys, like Johnny Manziel said. Pay the guys.
Okay, cool. So last topic. So disclaimer on this topic. Don't get too crazy. That's my disclaimer for you guys, okay? So there's a show called The Industry. I kind of gave you guys a little bit earlier. Basically, it's about a bank called Pierpoint and folks work in finance, and it gets really
in the UK.
In the UK, it's a little crazy with the relationships on the show. One of the stars on the show, named Harper Stern on the show. Her name's Myha'la, real life, the actress. Great actress, by the way. So she just did a piece with the New York Times, basically saying, you should argue in your relationships. So, last 2 minutes of the show. That's why I said disclaimer. Do you feel like that's a good approach, bad approach?
Hold on, before you even answer, Darren, I'm gonna just say this. I get what she's saying in the sense that, like, in relationships, you're going to have disagreements. You're going to have fights. It's normal. It may be healthy. But picking fights? Nah. I don't want my girl just picking fights just to test the health of our relationship. Nah. I'm not with that type of stress. I already got stress in other things that I'm doing, like business-wise, work-wise, family-wise. I don't need to go home to my peace of mind and to argue just to test the strength of our relationship. Nah, I'm not into that.
Did you say why? Did she say why?
Yeah. Well, I listened to some of it, and it's basically understanding your partner, listening, not basically if a woman's consulting and you telling you stuff and you're not like so quick to respond, you're actually listening, taking her input, kind of basically exploring your emotions essentially. All right, I didn't get to finish listening to the whole segment,
So you got to
but
fight to do that?
I kind of get what she's saying, looking at it from other people's relationships, seeing how they communicate with each other, or it kind of gets everything out. So I could, people I guess are maybe afraid of fighting relationships. That's why I said disclaimer in the beginning, because I ain't gonna get too crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily disagree if it's working for her. Every relationship is a little different.
Exactly.
But,
that's what I believe.
Yeah, every relationship is different, but I wouldn't say fight on purpose. I would never advocate fighting on purpose.
You're gonna be fighting by yourself. Keep doing that.
Exactly. You're gonna be soon arguing and screaming at air and walls. You ain't gonna be screaming at nobody else. So yeah, but all relationships at the end of the day, all relationships are gonna have disagreements. You're gonna have fights. You're gonna have trouble times. But
I think that's what actually makes a relationship. How can you navigate that and see where you can come to a common ground? I don't feel like that is highlighted enough in society today. Like, yeah, we're gonna have disagreements, but how are we working towards coming together on these disagreements?
See, the social courtesy guys are good guys, because everyone who says, "Hey, you guys have a podcast, we're talking about relationships," and I say, "No, we're talking tech, venture, and entertainment." So I intentionally threw this topic in here on purpose.
I think we may have to add relationship type of things under the entertainment part, because that is kind of entertainment. So yeah, I think we got to add it. And then one last thing too, I wore this shirt on purpose because it's particularly for Joe Budden, in particular. We gonna stop that slander of Tyla. Tyla is fire and Tyla is good.
What do you say about Tyla?
We not going maybe for next episode, but just a little the backlash that she got for when she was dancing when Usher brought her to the concert. He didn't bring her to the concert, but she was at the concert. Usher brought her up on stage for a second, and he tried to dance with her, and she kind of like moved away a little bit. And then also when she received the award, and she asked somebody else to hold it for her because it was kind of heavy. They was basically saying that she's giving off like uppity African girl that's not accustomed to the norms of the USA and like the showmanship of like being an entertainer and things of that nature. Like she's young, she's new into the industry, and then two, not everybody is like wants to get danced on. Wasn't they slandering Keke Palmer for dancing with Usher?
That was the whole thing. I have no comment.
You know what I'm saying? So like, last thing I'm just saying is like they were just kind of just giving up that she's acting like she's too good for people or too good to be around people. I don't think so. She may probably have like a little pretty girl type of thing going, but I personally don't think that's who she is. I think that she is just like, she's Africans are raised a little bit different than African girls are not really.
They don't get to go outside. Most of them.
Some of them.
They don't get to. They get chauffeured. They're just not outside like that. So it's a little bit of a difference.
Exactly. So it's just it's like a culturally thing. It's not like
she's been going through a lot of different
out there like that.
Cultural news in terms of I don't remember everything, but it just shows how everywhere is different.
Exactly.
Folks in the States
these are
forget that
things.
sometimes.
Exactly. And that's where I think that's why I said it, is like instead of kind of like bashing her and saying like she's acting like she's too good, educate her and be like, yo, part of the entertainment business is like we kind of just want to, it's not like a thing that you guys are a thing, but that's just part of the showmanship of the entertainment.
Right.
So we just got to kind of stop that like Tyla slander. She's a South African girl doing that.
One thing I will say about Tyla, especially as a young artist, they need to learn from her stage performance, because when she takes the stage, she takes the stage. And I don't see any artist on, of course, any genre doing that at this point in the game right now. So if you want to talk about Tyla, also talk about her stage presence and how she engulfs the stage with her showmanship and her style.
Because she could perform. She's a good artist. So yeah, I think the slander is just a little bit too much. Just educate her. She's not from America.
Look at her sneaking in the Tyla segment.
She's not sure. Yeah, I just had to just call out Joe Budden. But I like the Joe Budden.
But that's
podcast.
Also what he does too. So.
I know I like the Joe Budden podcast. But I just had to say something about that because that's not cool. We can't be bashing our fellow African artists that's on the uprise.
I hear you. And shout out to Myha'la again, my favorite on-screen actress from the industry. Yeah.
Lastly,
she's high on the list.
Lastly, the reason why we came to Toronto, Arcstone Investments and Securities, or Securities Investments, and Kingswood from New York. Thank you very much for inviting us to come out here. We appreciate that. Had a good time at the event. Learned a lot of things, and we hope to be able to, broker
We look
some
forward
deals
to
with-
seeing what happens.
Yeah, we hopefully be able to broker some deals with you guys in the future. But, shout out to T.O., episode 10, Social Currency, Toronto, baby.
Yes, please
Toronto.
like, comment, and subscribe. This is a milestone episode 10.
Again, shout out to VC, Vince Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Shutting down
just shut down what's the stadium called over here?
I don't know about that dunk contest.
But he shut down the stadium in Toronto. They just retired his jersey, paying respects to Vince Carter, a legend.
One of the best ever. Vinsanity.
Vince
That
Carter,
dunk
he really put Toronto on the map too back in that day, because putting
They were an expansion team.
we didn't see that.
We got to talk about greatness because that was great. That was damn near flawless.
Listen, we're going to be back in Toronto because it looks like we're going to have to go to a game.
Yeah, we might have
Masai,
to-
what's good?
Yeah, Masai Ujiri, we need you on the show too, man. But shout out to Toronto, everybody to Toronto. Shout out to the engineer too.
And shout out to Drake too, the boy.
And yeah, Drake.
Stop stealing the sauce from the city too. We heard you doing that.
Hey, shout out to Drake and we can't wait to hear the album. And
Shout out to Sad Boy. She was in the building yesterday.
oh, she what?
She was.
I missed that. Yeah, but
We just happy to be here. Our slogan that we don't say too much too often, but you had to be here.
you had to be in
You
Toronto.
had to be here. We had a time. We had a time. That's not over yet. But that's a wrap on episode 10 of the Social Currency series. Let's clap it up, boys. Yeah.